It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Happy Friday. We made it. Friday, July 18th, 2025. A week that is coming to an end after several days of monitoring a possible tropical something or other in the Gulf. And good news, it never managed to form. It never managed to get a name. Bad news is it has been keeping us in these higher rain chances, but even that is about to change as we track a bit of a drier trend into the weekend. So if you got some weekend plans, you might not need to be toting the umbrella around quite as often as in recent days. If you were out earlier this morning, you might have needed the umbrella. We got a time lapse that was rolling in Biloxi. Look at those raindrops falling there at the IP Casino Resort and Spa near Interstate 110. But right after the rain came down, the sun came out, so it's not like it lasted a very long time, but it sure was a pretty noisy thunderstorm that probably woke up a good majority of you, if you weren't already awake, in the Gulfport, Biloxi general area, as well as D'Iberville and St. Martin. Strangely enough, this thunderstorm actually missed Ocean Springs by just a hair. And we're actually going to take a look at the first alert radar to see if there's any rain out there right now. In general, no, there's not as many rain showers, but we do find some of them on the first alert radar map. You can see some of them are popping up in mainly Jackson County. So this is why we're telling you on this Friday to keep an umbrella nearby, as we still have the potential to see some rain showers and thunderstorms in parts of the area. It's not going to rain everywhere today. And even the places that it does rain, you're going to see breaks between the showers. Let's see, are we already seeing rain? Yeah, it's already happening. So see, because let's zoom into this one right here. In central Harrison County near Lyman and just to the north of Woolmarket. So this is a place near and east of Lyman that already got hit by that big thunderstorm earlier this morning. That was at about 5 or 6 in the morning. Now we've got another downpour hitting that same area, about to cross over Cowan-Lorraine or cross over Highway 605 at about 9 in the morning. So that's 2 downpours in one location in only about a 3 or 4 hour spread. Maybe this happens again in that one location. Maybe y'all will get another downpour around noon or 1 p.m. today. Okay, yeah, there's a break between each round, but with multiple rounds of rain like this going over the same location, that's what we've been hinting at over the last few days, that we have a risk for this sort of training effect where rain showers roll over the same location over and over again, leading to rainwater piling up and increasing that risk of flooding. Today, we're seeing some of these just kind of rotating around that circulation that's sitting over Louisiana. And so these are kind of rotating into our area like this from the southwest, moving generally up toward the north and east, eventually turning due north once they get closer to the middle part of the state. So even though there are some breaks now, I wonder if some more of this kind of wraps around and rolls into our area as we go to later today. So as a result, that's why we have the rain chances hanging out with us at about 50 to 60% today. You do want to have an umbrella nearby, as we'll see some of these rain showers passing through from time to time in some, but not all, of the area. So this is a look at the bigger picture, and you can easily make out a swirling mass of rain and clouds located in this general vicinity. Look how it's swirling counterclockwise. That is an area of unsettled weather that's kind of the remnants of that tropical low we were tracking, Invest 93L. Well, that is no longer being tracked by the National Hurricane Center. 93L moved off of the water and onto land. It moved ashore. So it no longer has a chance to become a depression or storm. But there still is some rain and some moisture associated with this that's causing these showers to kind of perk up, especially on the eastern side. We're seeing these just kind of forming off the Gulf moisture as they roll ashore. There's kind of a larger concentrated area of rain near the Texas-Louisiana line that's not moving our way. It's kind of drifting toward the west as it would, since it's kind of on the western side of the low circulation, about like that. So it's pretty easy to tell that it's pretty easy for rain to happen at times today in South Mississippi with this type of setup. But like I said, we're wondering if we're going to see that worst case scenario, the training effect. We just mentioned that earlier, the multiple rounds of showers in one location. That's like a train. You know, there's a track and the train goes over those same tracks over and over. So that's what it's called in weather, when a rain shower goes over the same location over and over, like a train goes over the tracks, over and over those train wheels, over the same tracks. That's called training. And I think that it's a possibility, but not a guarantee for us to see that today. But if it does set up, those will be the places that really see that flood threat kind of materialize for you. But hopefully we're spared, because if we're spared from that, then it's kind of smooth sailing into the weekend. We'll just see some spotty showers and storms, or scattered showers and storms today, and then eventually see those rain chances decreasing over the weekend. Now, the decrease from today to tomorrow is not a big decrease. Today's rain chances are around 50 to 60%. Tomorrow's are around 40 to 50%. So it's almost the same chance, but it is maybe just the subtlest of decreases. But then we had from Saturday to Sunday, and that's a big decrease. It's down to only 10 to 30%. Some of the latest information coming in just moments ago, allowing me to even reduce that rain chance by just a little bit more, as our models are trending even drier for that Sunday into early next week time frame, as we'll have a high pressure setting up over us. So for now, still dealing with that risk of flooding. I believe that we are still, I'll double check, but I believe we are still under that flood watch. Let's take a look. As of 9 a.m. Friday, yes, the flood watch is still active. What's a watch? A watch means the ingredients are there, and be prepared in case of an upgrade to a warning. A warning means life-threatening weather is happening now. Take action to protect life and property. Sometimes you don't get upgraded to a warning. Sometimes you'll only get upgraded to an advisory, which is not always life-threatening, but is certainly disruptive. That is what happened Wednesday p.m. in the Gulfport, Biloxi area. The watch was upgraded to an advisory in Gulfport, Biloxi on Wednesday evening, as there was a really heavy thunderstorm there, and it was causing some traffic disruptions with the heavy rain that led to some localized flooding in that area. I want to show you, by the way, that over the last 48 hours from Friday morning back toward Wednesday morning, this is how much rain has happened over the 6 southernmost counties. And you'll notice in this area, that's where we're looking, you can see our inland counties, Pearl River, Stone, George, picked up around 1 to 3 inches of rain. You see green to purple. Green to purple is about 1 to 3. We see on the coast, we have kind of blue to red. So that's like 1.5 to also about 3. So really, when you say it a different way, I guess green to purple is not really 1 to 3. Green to purple is like 1/2 to 2. But blue to red is about 1 to 2.5. So it was a little worse on the coast compared to inland areas. And I want you to compare this actual rain that we saw based on radar estimates to the forecast that was issued on Wednesday. So you can see that map there, right? But then compare to this forecast map, and you'll see that it was really kind of close to what was called, what I showed on Wednesday morning. There was some forecast information from the National Weather Service that showed higher numbers, but I just kind of went with the lower numbers from Wednesday to Friday, and this is what I was showing: a general 1 to 3, but then some spots down on the coast could have the possibility to go a little bit higher than that. And I mean, it was pretty close to what actually happened. So if you were watching my forecast on Wednesday, it looks like it was pretty close to reality. But we take a look at the flood risk, and this is what I'm going to pop back up before we get to the forecast map. And this is the flood risk for Friday and Friday night. It still is a level 2 out of 4. So we still have that medium risk of flooding somewhere in that yellow area. Maybe it's South Mississippi, or maybe it's South Louisiana, or maybe it's going to be somewhere into South Alabama. But somewhere in this yellow area, there might be some reports of flooding. It just depends on exactly where that training effect sets up. I'd say we have a pretty good shot of it when you're on the right side of that low, because the showers are going to be coming in off the Gulf. And as they kind of repeatedly form and develop off the Gulf and roll ashore, that's probably where you're going to see that better setup, anywhere that's near or east of that low pressure circulation. Now, the good news for the weekend, that probability will decrease for flooding. So Friday, a level 2 out of 4. Saturday, only a level 1 out of 4. And then look at Sunday, and the risk level is pretty much gone. So the way we get to that is by seeing the low move away and seeing a drier high pressure system moving closer to us. So for Friday and Friday night's map, that tropical low is located off to our west. This makes it really easy for rain showers to develop on the eastern side of it and to roll toward the shoreline. So it makes it really easy for us to see these scattered showers and storms, along with the possibility of flooding. But this is going to change as we go from today to tomorrow. That tropical low will basically fall apart as it moves inland, and we're already going to start to see high pressure moving in from the west. Now remember, with the high pressure, circulation around that is clockwise. So since we are on the western side of it, we're still seeing these winds coming in from the Gulf. So there still can be an element of kind of getting some pop-up showers fueled by Gulf moisture on Saturday. But as that high gets a little bit closer to us, that's going to change. So even though Saturday there are some scattered showers and storms at times, I think there's going to be some rain-free hours with breaks in between. And before you know it, we go to Sunday, and that high pressure will get even closer to us. And with that high pressure nearby on Sunday, that's going to be the key to finally unlocking those lower rain chances. The coverage will really be pretty spotty, hit or miss, maybe spotty, maybe none at all. Very isolated rain coverage on Sunday and the Sunday night compared to what we've been dealing with over the last 48 to 72 hours. So that's good news as the weather trends drier for the weekend. The models still are showing that maybe that changes next week. Look at these model lines, the GFS in pink and the European model in green, showing the rain potential for the next 7 days. And sure, some of the lines go up a little bit on Friday into Saturday. Maybe they go up a little bit at some point between Sunday and next Tuesday, but the sharpest rise in these lines is where? Right here. So I can actually circle that. Sometime between next Wednesday and next Friday, you are seeing that sharp increase. Our models continuing to show agreement on our weather pattern turning wetter during the second half of next week. And I showed this yesterday. The reason why they are showing that is because we're going to kind of see a bit of a loop-de-loop here as the tropical moisture that is today located close to us will come around the bend and come back at our coast by the middle of next week. You see on Friday today, the high pressure near or east of Florida, that is going to push that tropical moisture northward, because you have that that clockwise circulation that's going to steer all of that moisture toward the north. So by the time we get to Saturday, that moisture will be situated near North Mississippi. But the high is now moving over Florida. So that clockwise circulation around the high will now steer that moisture a little bit more toward the east. So by the time we go to Sunday, the moisture moves from North Mississippi to even further North Mississippi. But then the high is now over the Florida Panhandle. And so, remember, the clockwise circulation, that's going to steer that moisture even more to the east. So by the time we get to Monday, that tropical moisture is moving into northern Alabama. But now the high is located over right on top of us, which, by the way, is going to make us really drier and hotter around next Monday. Some of the forecast high temperatures are in the mid to upper 90s. There could be swelteringly hot weather for us by next Monday with that high sitting on top of us and no moisture to help see rain. But then, remember, with the high sitting on top of us, that clockwise circulation around it, that will help to steer that moisture down into portions of Alabama by next Tuesday. And it actually sends it all the way down to the Florida Panhandle. The high is continuing to move west, and by Tuesday that high pressure is located over Louisiana. And since there is that clockwise circulation around it, we can see where the moisture is going to be steered. And you guessed it, right down into the Gulf. So we could be dealing with, by the time we get to next Wednesday, basically a repeat of this tropical moisture looming near the Gulf Coast, bringing better rain chances. And maybe, if the National Hurricane Center thinks so, they might actually highlight this area for development. It might have another shot at becoming a depression or storm. Now, just a few housekeeping notes. Because 93L already fell apart, the tropical low called 93L that no longer exists. This, if it gets to become an invest again, it's not going to take that same number. It'll take a different number. It might take 94 if we don't see any other development anywhere else between now and then. It would take 94, that number particularly. And if it gets a little bit further, or literally a little farther rather, out to sea, offshore, that could have it a better chance of developing. You know, this time it was unable to do it because it was too close to land. But what about next week? If it's too close to land again, then yeah, it'll fail to develop probably. But if it goes just a little bit farther out into the Gulf, maybe it'll have a better shot at it next week. But we'll have many days to watch that between now and then. So your 7-day forecast starts with higher rain chances and ends with higher rain chances. It's a higher rain chance sandwich. And in the middle, we got your drier, hotter pattern. The hottest days of the next 7 days look like they're going to be around next Monday and Tuesday, with that high pressure sitting directly on top of us. We're not going to be able to get much rain, and that is going to allow temperatures to really sizzle. On the coast, we're looking at low to mid 90s. But if I take a peek at the coast versus inland, let's see if that'll pop up for me here. Coast versus inland high temperatures over the next 4 days. Take a look at this. So we're looking at today in the upper 80s because we've got some clouds and rain and a low pressure nearby. Tomorrow already returning to the lower 90s because there's going to be more breaks in the rain, probably a little bit more sunshine. Sunday, plenty of sun, and the tropical moisture moving far away from us, so we're not going to see nearly as much rain. So temperatures are going to roll right into the low to mid 90s. And by the time we get to Monday, seeing those sizzling hot mid 90s by that point in time. So it is going to start to get a bit hotter as we see those rain chances decrease over the next 3 to 4 days. But then by the middle of next week, if we get that moisture back in play, then that could help the temperatures to come back down as we'll see the rain chances go up. A little bit of a roller coaster ride for you on the 7-day forecast, with the temperatures going down, then up, then down again. The rain chances going up, then down, then up again. So hopefully you're able to stay on top of the latest changes. That's what you got your pals here at the WLOX First Alert Weather Center for, to keep you on top of those. So be sure to stay tuned as we monitor the latest adjustments to the information. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.